Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Andi. Really happy that you're here. I am continuing my collection and declutter series with eyeshadow palettes. These are my full-size eyeshadow palettes. I do have them in alphabetical order, so we are starting with the A's. I'm going to try to make these videos no longer than 30 minutes because I know you guys, it is Vlogmas. I know you guys have a lot of people that you want to watch, a lot of creators that you want to watch. So I'm going to try to not to make it any longer than 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. Want to? The first one I have is Ace Beauté, and this is the Blossom Passion. I have never used this palette. I think I might have gotten it from Boxy or something. I can't remember where I got it. I don't think I got it from the site. And honestly, I can't remember if it's their old formula or new formula. I think it's their new formula, but I don't reach for it. I've never reached for it. I have other pinks. I have other reds that I would reach for over this palette. This is a great formula. I love Ace Beauté very, very much. For some reason, I just don't reach for it, so I am getting rid of it. Next up is the Ace Beauté Slice of Paradise palette. I have used this. I don't really know why that is on there. I usually try to take these off when I've used them, but I have used this, I think, once. I think I used this in a collab with Leanna Dalton. I don't reach for it, you guys. I don't. I have other rainbow palettes. If I want a rainbow palette, I will reach for a Blend Bunny, or I will reach for my ColourPop Fade into Hue. Never does this cross my mind if I need a rainbow palette. So again, this one is getting decluttered. Next up is my Ace Beauté Classical Paradise. This one is used. I have used it several times. Not a lot, but some. This is a beautiful fall palette to me. I bought this after seeing Ash from Makeup and Chaos rave about it, and I knew that I'm pretty sure this is their newer formula as well, and this one is not going anywhere. I'm keeping it. Next up is the Ace Beauté Paradise Fallen. This one has also been used. I love this palette. This was the first collab that I ever did with Leanna Dalton. We used this palette. I think we did a bingo, but I can't remember. It's been a couple of years. And I love it. I love it. And it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Next up is this Ace Beauté Floral Vintage. And I just, not too awfully long ago, maybe September, I had this in my 50 Shades of Yellow/Gold, and I did no pan left behind, which means I had to use every shade at least once. And you guys, I didn't care for it. It's a great formula. It is a beautiful formula. Ace Beauté has a beautiful formula. I don't care for the color story. If I'm going to go into browns, I'm going to pick a palette that has beautiful browns in it. If I want an orange or a peach or whatever, I have palettes I can go to for those shades. I don't reach for this, which is why I put it in my project. But this one is getting decluttered also. Next up is the Ace Beauté Flare palette. I picked this up on a super duper sale on the site. This is the old formula. Don't care that it's the old formula. I've only used it once so far, but I'm keeping it. Next up is the Oceanic. I bought this when I bought the Flare palette. I have not used it. I keep these on until I use them. So that's why if I've used it and it has one of these, I'm surprised. I have not used it yet. It is beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait to use it, but I have not reached for it yet. So, but I'm keeping it. I'm keeping that palette. And next up is the Palettopoly, bringing back the fun and makeup. I have used this a couple of times, not a few times. I've used this a couple of times just for certain shades. This is such a fun palette because all of the names are from the 80s and 90s, and I freaking love it. And it's not going anywhere. I'm keeping it. Next up is the Ace Beauté Nostalgia. This was my first Ace Beauté palette. I don't know why that's on there. I'm probably going to find quite a few with that on there. This one I bought also at Ash's recommendation. Have it. So this one's not going anywhere. I believe this might have been my first collab with Ash, but I do love this palette and I've used it several times. And yeah, I'm keeping it. Next up is the Ace Beauté Quintessential palette. I did do a collab with Kim from Hanging Out with Kim, and it's a great formula. I don't reach for it. When I did the collab with Kim, that's the first time I'd ever used it, and I've used it maybe once since then. Oh, I had an April Fool's collab with Leanna Dalton that I did use this palette, but I don't reach for it. I don't really care for it much, so I am going to declutter that. Next up is the Ace Beauté Vintage Dawn palette. I have not used this yet. So I have another one of these that I think I got a bad palette because it swatched terribly. It went on the eyes terribly. This was also in a collab, and I believe it was in a collab with Ash. And like this got hard panned, and this got hard panned very quickly. And so I said I was going to declutter it, which it was still on my shelf. Obviously, I just got it. So Mary Catherine Loves Cats sent me a replacement, and I have swatched the red, which is one of the things I had a problem with, and it swatches beautifully. And I have not actually used it yet, but I am keeping it. Of the color story, I think that it's a really great fall palette. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping that. Next up is the Ace Beauté Fallen for You. And oh, you guys, I have thoughts. I don't love this palette. I really don't. I've used it a couple of times. Again, the formula is fine. I think with this palette, you either love it or you don't love it. And I don't love it. So I'm actually going to let that go. And then the last Ace Beauté palette is the Scarlet Dusk. I have used it, and it's a very pretty color story. I really like the color story a lot. I love these berry tones, and so yes, I'm keeping this one. So up next are my full-size ABH palettes, Anastasia, Beverly Hills. This is the Modern Renaissance, and this one was gifted to me from Makeup and Chaos when they decluttered it, and I love this palette. This one's not going anywhere. It is a beautiful neutral color story, which is right up my alley. The next one is the Subculture palette. Again, I love this palette. I got this for 20 bucks at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. I think I got it at Marshall's. And I don't know, this is just so, like, again, people either loved this or they hated it. I love it. I think it's great. This electric shade right here is so freaking pretty. I love it. I'm not doing a bunch of swatches in here, but if it's a special shade, then I will. So that's not going anywhere. And then the last ABH palette that I have is called the Nouveau. And again, this is beautiful. I love it. It has a very cohesive color story, except for that purple right there, which I don't love. I don't love that. I don't love that in this palette. But the rest of it is stunning. I love it, and I'm keeping it. And the last of the A's that I have, the Aphrodite from Amore Us. I just took it out of its sleeve. It still has thing because I've never used it. I did get this in a Busy Beauty box, and I've never reached for it. I don't know anything about Amore Us, but I know that I have this color story in other palettes that I do use, so this one is getting decluttered. And now we're going to the B's, and the first one is by B Bella, and it is the Oh Poppy, and I got this from Ash from Makeup and Chaos, and it's a beautiful palette. I enjoy it. I love the formula of it. I think B Bella has a beautiful formula for a more affordable type palette. So I'm keeping this. Next up is the Lotus Love. If you by any chance saw my makeup declutter last year. You'll see this, and you'll see that I decluttered it. I did. I decluttered this last year. I brought it back in. Why? I don't know, but have I used it since then? No, I have not. So again, I'm going to declutter it because I have not reached for it since before I decluttered it last time. So that is getting decluttered. And the last Bee Bella palette I have is the Champagne Kisses 2. And I have used this one time. I tried to give it to my mom, and she accepted it, and then she gave it back to me. She was like, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it. My mom doesn't wear makeup. So she was like, I'm not going to use it. You'll get more use out of it. Well, no, I'm not, because I've only used it once in like 3 years. So this one is getting decluttered as well. Okay, now we have Beauty Bay palettes. This is the Beauty Bay Midnight palette, and this was gifted to me from Ash. This was in their collection, and they have the large 42 pan of this, so they sent it to me because I had tried a Beauty Bay palette, didn't like it, and they love Beauty Bay, and they're like, give it another chance. So they sent me this, and I tried it, and I really do love it. And since then, I've fallen in love with Beauty Bay. So this is not going anywhere. I'm keeping it. The next Beauty Bay palette is the Beauty Bay Neutrals. If you've been around here, you know that I freaking love this palette so much. So much. This is my perfect color story. Beauty Bay has such a beautiful formula, and they are so affordable. They do ship from the UK. It takes it a little while to get here, but this is one of my favorite palettes ever. So yes, keeping. The next one is the Retro Love palette. I did a collab with Ash with this palette. I have not used it since. This is a limited edition palette, and it's very fun. All of the names are after like classic oldies, classic love songs, and it's called Retro Love. And I just think it's stunning. These I have to swatch. I have to swatch this shade right here and this shade right here are freaking stunning. Yeah, those are the only shades I've used. You can see the ones I've used. I used like these shades. So I'm keeping. And the last Beauty Bay palette I have is the Jade palette. I did get this in a mystery box from Beauty Bay, and I really do like it. I was afraid, I'll pull you guys up just a little bit. I was afraid that I almost decluttered this, you guys. I almost decluttered it because it's just so all over the place, and I don't like that. I don't like how it's laid out, but I gave it a chance. I put it in my Project 3 uses, and I actually used it more than 3 times. And again, the formula is lovely, and I loved it, and I am keeping it. Continuing with B's, I have BH, and I have a ton of BH. So we'll see what our time is like when we're done with the BH, and we may just do A's and B's today. Yeah, we might just do A's and B's today. So first up, the Avocado Toast palette. I love it. Not going anywhere. Beautiful fall color story. Love it. The BH Mimosa palette. This was in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. That shade right there I had to use, and it was a struggle. And honestly, I did do a collab with Renee from Beauty and More with Renee. I love the formula of this palette. I do not like the color story. These bright pinks, they're not me. And these 3 shades right here, believe it or not, look very, very similar on the eye. And I don't love it. I don't love it. So I am actually going to let that go. Next up is the Blueberry Muffin. This one's not going anywhere. I love this palette so much. And even though I'm not really a blue girl, it's just such a great formula. And I like blues way better than I like those bright pinks. And I'm going to keep this. Next up is the Trendy in Tokyo. Those were part of the Weekend Vibes series. This is the travel series. And this is the Trendy in Tokyo. I got this from Erica Conger, when she decluttered it, she asked me if I wanted it. I said, sure. So I have not used it yet since I've gotten it, but it is a great rainbow palette, and it's that amazing BH formula, so of course it's staying. Next up is the Loss in Los Angeles. I did a collab with Emily D using this, and I don't love this palette. I don't love it. The only good thing about this palette, well, other than the formula, because it is amazing formula, the shimmers are beautiful. This shimmer right here, this Rodeo Drive, is just gorgeous. Bright pink with like a gold flip to it. And the Hills is such a pretty silvery, almost like a purpley silver, pinky silver shade. But it is not a cohesive color story to me. I had a hard time doing a complete look with it. I ended up doing purples and peaches, and it was okay for what it was, but I'm actually going to let this one go. Next up is the Paris. It's a Passion in Paris palette. This one's not going anywhere. I love this color story. I think it's gorgeous. These deep wines down here, the purples, it's freaking beautiful. Keeping. Next up is the Smitten in Switzerland, and I did a collab. I might have done a collab with Erica Conger on this, but I can't remember. If so, it was a long time ago. Next up is the Smitten in Switzerland palette. Oh my gosh, I have glitter all over my hands. I did a collab with Tina H. Beautiful Journey using this palette, and it is so pretty. I love the muted tones, these shades here, and even though I'm not a huge green fan, these greens were beautiful, and it has the lights, the mediums, the darks, and this one's not going anywhere. The last one is the Party in Puerto Rico. Party in Puerto Rico. I've only used this once, and I can't remember when I used it. I feel like it was a collab, but oh, this was a collab with Lana Dalton, I believe. I believe it was. I did not love the look that I did with it. I had already had this on the chopping, like this was on my chopping block. It wasn't in my Project 3 Uses chopping block. I just had it in my mental chopping block. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it a little longer and see what I think of it, because I didn't like the look I did with it, but that's because I put shades together that have no business going together. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it again, and then we'll see. We'll see. Okay, next up is the Weekend Festival. I bought this from either Poshmark or Mercari. I can't remember which one. I have used it. I think I used it once. I don't remember if it was a palette collection bingo or what it was that I used it for. I'm on the fence on this. This is going to be a maybe. It's going in the maybe pile over there. The next three are from the BH Sweet Shop collection, and I got all three of these from Ash when they decluttered them, and I have not used any of them yet. However, they're not going anywhere because I know that this formula is like top-notch amazing, and I have wanted the Sweet Shop collection for so long. I look on Mercari and Poshmark all the time for the cherry on top and the cone, waffle cone, something. I don't really care for, I really don't want the orange one, but I do want the other two. So I look on there a lot, but they want some ridiculous prices for them. It's BH, guys. Just because they're discontinued doesn't mean you can charge $50 for a freaking BH palette. I'm just saying. So anyway, those are not going anywhere. That was the cotton candy. This is the bubble gum. And then this one is the pistachio. This one I wanted after watching Erica Conger use it because it looked amazing. She looks so good in greens anyway. But yeah, this formula, I have swatched them, but this formula is like top notch. Keeping all three of those. The next one is the Lunar New Year. Now this one is still sealed. BH, when they do their their shade protectors, they are sealed on there. I bought this from Mercari, and I bought it brand new, obviously. And you guys, I don't I don't know why I bought it. This is not me. This is not me. Well, I know why I bought it. I saw Jen Beauty do a look with it, and I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. I'm going to get it. I don't like glitter at all. There's 5 glitters in it. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. I didn't pay much for it. I think I paid like 15 bucks for it, if that. So I'm going to let it go. Next up is the Supernova. Again, Poshmark or Mercari. I can't remember because I was on the hunt for all of their baked formula palettes because I love them. And I have not used this yet, but it is beautiful. Their baked formula is amazing. I love their baked formula. And these shades are just freaking beautiful. They're just beautiful. So this one's not, none of my baked formula are going anywhere. So that was the Supernova. This is the Galaxy Chic. This one and the next one I bought together on the BH site 3 years ago. 3 years ago, maybe? 2.5, something like that. Again, beautiful baked formula. These are some very fun shades. I love the marbled shades and not going anywhere. And then this is the Solar Flare, which, again, I said I bought those two together. This is more earth tones, more neutrals. You do have that beautiful purple. This purple is so pretty. It's a deep, plummy purple. And I love it. And not going anywhere. And the last of those type of palettes is the Aurora Lights. And I have used this. I do love it. I used these purples. Yeah, these purples right here with my Blend Bunny blends because it's an all matte palette. So I was using them together. Stunning, stunning, stunning. So keeping that. Okay, I have 3 of the Zodiacs. This is the Zodiac Love Signs. I did get this from a Busy Beauty box. And I have not used it. Not once. But it's pretty. And I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not getting rid of it. I love it too. I love the Zodiac palette so much. This is the Zodiac Crystal palette. Some of these, I don't know why I still have the sleeve on them because I've used them. I have used this. I used this in a palette collection bingo. And I got this a birthday gift, I believe. It was either birthday or Christmas from Ash. And it's beautiful and I love it. And it's not going anywhere. Again, these marbled shades are just stunning. And the last Zodiac palette I have is the original Zodiac. It has a screensaver on it, which I don't know why. Because I've used it. And this started my addiction to their baked formula. This was the first baked formula I bought, and I love it. And again, not going anywhere. And the last 2 BH palettes I have are the Christmas releases. Now this palette, when it first came out, I wonder if it has a year on here. It does not have a year on here, but I believe it was 2021. It was either 2020 or 2021. It could have even been 2019. I can't remember now. But anyway, I didn't buy it when it was out, and then it was gone. And I found this on Mercari, either Poshmark or Mercari. And I think I got it for like $15 or $12. And it was brand new when I bought it. And I love this. I did do a Christmas in July collab with Ash. It was either Christmas collab or Christmas in July. With Ash, this Candied Fruit is my favorite shade. It is so beautiful. It has a little shifty shift to it. There are shades in here I have not used, but almost all of them have been touched. So, keeping. And then the last one is the Miss Claus Lit List. And that was their holiday release the next year, which might have been 2021. I don't remember now. Ash and I did a collab with this as well. Again, Christmas in July or Christmas. I can't remember which one it was. And this one's not going anywhere because it's a beautiful formula. It's a beautiful palette. I freaking love it. And although I've not used it a whole lot, it's staying. Okay, the last of the bees I have here. And this is the Boss Babe Dolly from Buxom. I did get this in a Busy Beauty box I have used it. I don't know why that's on there. I have used it. I thought it was nice. It is my perfect color story. I don't reach for it very often. I'm going to keep it around for a little bit longer because I want to see if I can get some more use out of it, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this, but I am going to keep it for now. The next three are Blend Bunny. This is the Blend Bunny Blends. This is the all matte palette I was talking about earlier. I have used these three purples so much, and they don't even look like they've been used. I've used these browns so much, and they don't even look like they've been used. So I'm keeping this. I love Blend Bunny. I love their formula. It's amazing, and I am definitely keeping that. Next up is the Blend Bunny Surge. I did a collab with Leanna using this palette. Also a palette collection bingo, I believe. Yeah, again, it's a great palette. I have used it many, many times, and again, it does not look like it. Well, these shimmers do. The shimmers are very special. They do not, Blend Bunny shimmers do not apply very well on the, with a brush. You have to use your finger, and I'm very much anti-finger when it comes to applying my shadows. I don't like doing it with my finger, but I will if that's what gets it to go on perfectly. I don't know. Matter of fact, they discontinued this palette. I don't know if it's still there or not. So yes, it's got your neons, it's got your shimmers, it's got your very deep shades, it's got some medium shades, and it has your pastels. It has anything you would want. And I love the way they're situated. And yeah, so it's not going anywhere. And the last Blend Bunny is the Dollhouse. And again, this is not going anywhere either. I did a collab with Leanna Dalton. If you don't know, Leanna and I have a monthly collab. So a lot of these palettes I've done a collab with. I did a 3 looks 1 palette with this. I will link up in the cards. This is a stunning palette. I freaking love this palette. When this palette came out, I was like, that's all me. Because these rainbow palettes, I'm not a rainbow palette kind of girl, but I will use color. I just don't usually use all the colors together. But I do appreciate color, and I do like using color sometimes, but this is where my heart is right here. And some of these shimmers are ridiculous. Like, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. So yeah, that's not going anywhere either. And then my next two are Be Perfect. This is the Be Perfect Carnival 3 Love Tahiti. This is with Stacey Marie. And it is a very vibrant, beautiful, summery, spring, fall. You can pretty much use this any time of the year, and it is gorge, and I love it. And this is not going anywhere. And then the last Be palette that I have is the Be Perfect Carnival 4, the Antidote. And this is probably my favorite fall palette ever. It has anything you would need for a fall look, anything at all you would need for a fall look. It's gorgeous. I have done several looks with this, and I've loved every single one of them. And yeah, that's not going anywhere either. You guys, I missed 2 bees. They were sitting over here, and I kept looking over here to make sure that there was nothing over here. But this is the Balm Meet Matrimony. This is probably my oldest palette that I still use. So this is the Meet Matrimony. This is all mattes. And I bought this when I was told that when you're over a certain age, you should not wear shimmer. And I tell those people now, you're not the boss of me. I do what I want. Yes, I do. So as you can see, I have used the heck out of this palette because this was my only palette for a while. This is a beautiful transition shade. This is great to set your eye with. This is great to set your eye with. I'm really surprised that I have a pretty big dip in there. This was my brow shade for a really long time. And I had come into this thinking I was going to declutter it because it is so old. It still works fine. I'm not decluttering it. I'm not. I might put it in a project to where I get more use out of it. but I'm not decluttering it. And then the other one that I forgot about was my Covered with Fingerprints Glam Reflection Rosé. This was my first BH palette I ever bought. And as you can see, she's been loved. So these two here, there's still some like right around the edge that I am probably going to dig out and repress in the middle. These two were both really great lid setting shades. Beautiful transition shade, inner corner shade. This is what I would grab when I didn't have one of those things in the palette that I was using. This is what I use on my eyebrows all the time. I still use it. So those are not going anywhere. And then I don't have any C's that are not ColourPop because ColourPop got its own video because there's so much of it. You had already seen that. I will link that in the cards if you did not see it. I don't have any D's, E's, or F's with my full-size palettes. So next up is G, Glamlight. And this is the Margarita palette from Glamlight. I did get this on sale. I had this in my Shop My Stash probably 3 different times this summer. I didn't use it. It hasn't been used. It's beautiful. I don't know why. It hasn't been used. Next up is the Scooby-Doo Creeps and Craws. Beautiful, amazing formula. The shimmers are ridiculous. The only thing I don't like about this palette is there's no light shade. Even this shade here is like a mid-tone shade. So if you're going to do a complete look with it, you have to bring in another palette. So, but I'm keeping it. Because I love it, and it's Scooby, and I love Scooby. Next up is the Scooby-Doo Ruh-Roh Raggy. And this is what it looks like. And I feel the same way about this one. The shimmers are beautiful. The mattes are beautiful as well. But there's no light shades in here. So, but I'm going to keep it. But you do have to drag in another palette. Next up is the regular first, number 1, I guess, Michaela palette. Do I love Michaela? No, I do not. Do I support her? Not really. I mean, not because of anything, but I mean, she seems like a fake person. And so, no, I don't love her. However, I'm not throwing away my palettes because that's dumb. But this is the first one. I do keep these in their boxes because these have been known to come apart and have glitter everywhere. So I do keep them in there. I have used this palette many times. The purples are what I usually use. I love this palette, so I'm keeping it. Next up is the Michaela Pot 2. And again, I keep it in the box because it also has glitter in it. Beautiful purples, greens, blues. Some of these shades, Cloud 9. Do this without you seeing the mirror. The Cloud 9, the Poppin' shade is beautiful. Has a little shifty shift. The Mocket and the I Love You. Those are all amazingly beautiful. And to me, I think I might bust this palette out in the winter because I do like those types of shades in the winter. And no, you don't have to follow the seasons. You don't, because nobody's the boss of you. You do what you want. But I feel I like that. I like doing that. So there's that. The next one is the Ice Cream Dream. I recently got this, and after I saw, it comes with this amazing packaging. Okay, so it came in this amazing, cute packaging, but this will not fit on my shelf. It will not fit. It won't fit standing up. It won't fit sideways like this. It won't fit. So I did keep this, but I don't have it stored in it. So I saw Jen from Jen Beauty use this. I have not used it yet. Or maybe it was during her palette collection. And I had to have it. But it's a little bit pricier palette. It's not ridiculously expensive like some, but it's especially for as many shades you get. But it's pricey. But they had them on sale. And I can't remember what I paid for it. 25, 30. I can't remember what I paid for it, but whatever I paid for it was worth it. Bought it. Super cute. Super cute. And the last glam light palette I have is the Cake palette. I do keep it in its adorable little packaging. This will fit on my shelf. And I have used this a couple of times. I did do a collab with Lena Dalton using this palette. Also, the reason I bought this was from watching Ash use it. This Red Velvet is probably the only true red palette that or shade that I have. Like, that's red. That's just red. So many red shades go so pink, and I don't want that. If I want a red shade, I want a freaking red shade. So yes, I love, 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 love. So I'm happy I bought that. Oh, you know what? I have one more. So the last one I have is the Street Taco palette. It was over here beside me because this is in my 50 Shades of Yellow / Gold, and I have to use it. No pan left behind. And as you can see, I haven't touched it yet. But as you can see, as of filming this, which I am pre-filming, as of filming this, I have not used it yet. Now, by the time you see this, hopefully that's changed. Okay, let's look at this. This was my maybe. Oh, you guys, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it for now. For now, I'm going to keep it. See if I reach for it. Since I'm decluttering some of my palettes, maybe I'll reach for it instead of something else. So I'm telling myself that. I probably won't. But I am going to keep it for now. Because I haven't had it really that long. So I'm going to keep it for now. All right, I have 2 more G's, and then I'm going to let you go. So the first one is the Gourmand Girls Exquisite with Batgirl Lecta, Volume 2. I have swatched it, but I haven't used it yet. So, I don't know. I know that they have a great formula, that Gourmand Girls has a great formula. So, I'm definitely going to keep it. I just I haven't used it yet. And then the other Gourmand Girls that I have is the Secret Grove. This came in the Ice Cream Beauty box in September, I think. I think it was September. I haven't used it yet. As of filming this, I haven't used it yet. But it's very pretty. I resubscribed to the Ice Cream Beauty box to get this one in the next months. I don't love that these 2 greens are very similar, and I don't love that these 2 are similar. So, as of me filming this, I have not used it. So we'll see how I feel after I use it. Because again, I know that their formula is a beautiful formula. I just haven't used it yet. So hey, let's see how many palettes we got rid of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got rid of 12 palettes. I think that's awesome. I love that. I love that I got rid of 12 palettes. 12 palettes that I don't use that are going to be rehomed to someone that will love them. If you're interested in any of these palettes that I am decluttering, then I will have a link to my Mercari store in the description box below. Go over there and check them out. Okay, you guys, that's it. A through G, we got it done. We'll be starting with H during the next video, which maybe will be the next day. Maybe will be a couple days from now. I don't know. But I really appreciate you being here. And until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.